Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Everything Anthony, and today's topic of interest is the scene in Titanic where we see the machinery, the engines, the triple expansion reciprocating steam engine in the engine room. Now I've always wondered how they actually filmed this footage, being as there is no such engine that is in existence on dry land. And then I came across these facts, researched it, and I thought I'd share it with you. But before I do, I'd like to thank every one of you who is watching. Those that have subscribed over the last few weeks, thank you for joining me, and let's get into it. Unfortunately, it's time for some shitty voiceover. So at the top of screen, I have a World War II Liberty ship, and at the bottom of the screen, I have a rendering of RMS Titanic. And I suppose you're wondering, what does a World War II Liberty ship have in common with the Titanic? Well, it has this filmmaker, James Cameron, and in order for me to explain why, we need to go back to pre-production. And in pre-production we have these renderings, and the renderings are basically what the cinematographer is wanting to portray in the movie. And the one thing that you'll notice is the scale, the sheer size of these engines, and that's one of the things that they needed to portray. And if we go back to 1912 and look at the statistics, the average person was only 5'8" in height. So when we look at a photo of under that annoying red line there of the average man, he's only 5'8". It gives you perspective of how huge these engines are. Now, there's nothing of existence in this size, so James Cameron had an idea with his team, and they thought that they would look at the Liberty ship. And the reason they looked at the Liberty ship was the Liberty ship was steam powered. It was steam powered by a triple expansion reciprocating steam engine weighing roughly 140 tons, and if we compare both engines visually, we can see that the flywheels look very similar. They're a two-piece design, and both engines are a column-style marine engine, and even to the point of the cylinders and crossheads look very similar. So it then came down to, how do you make a engine that is huge and an engine that is smaller look huge? So the team with James Cameron came up with the idea of basically making the Liberty engine, which, as you can see in the footage, is a lot smaller than what the Titanic's engine was. So they came up with the idea of making everything surrounding that engine 1/3 smaller in size. So then its representation was equivalent to the full-size Titanic engines. So they got modelers in to turn around and recreate a lot of parts around the engine. You can see the lights were all 1/3 size, the catwalks were all 1/3 size, so that when they were able to CGI or green screen the people walking around the engine, they would have been at the correct size of that 5'8" guy that we saw previously to these Titanic engine. So James Cameron had a theory, and that was never to repeat two techniques one after each other. Meaning that if you used real footage of an engine and then used a green screen, the following clip should not have the same process. So here you see what you think is a CGI, but this is actually a scale model. Yes, they produced a scale model of the twin engines in the Titanic engine room. As we can see here, we've got a famous face, Ken Michelle, and we turn around and we look at all the little fine detail, and it comes down to combination. They used combination of real footage and green screen, or real people and models. It was never ever a combination of two things one after each other, and I think that's what turned around and gave the representation of such realism throughout the movie. So it was a very clever way of using the Liberty ship's original steam engine to be incorporated into the movie to create that illusion that you're looking at the Titanic's real engine. I think it's very smart the way that they're, or creative, the way that they use models and then a bit of green screen and then CGI, so that basically your mindset is always trying to figure out what the illusion is. Are they using real footage? They speed up the mechanical maths to make it look a lot larger, or it's going quicker. So in the closing sequence of this next footage, I want you guys to watch it. It's one of my favourite parts, and I want you to keep your eye out and see if you can pick what's a model, what's CGI, what they've actually done. So till next time, take care and thanks for watching. That's me, Everything Anthony. Goodbye.